Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo, and we're doing a sort of vlog Q&A thing. That's my face. It's got a beard. Alright, let's get real here. This is basically the Q&A I was supposed to do about a month ago. Things were planned one way, and then the plans didn't work, and then they did work, and then I realized, wow, there's like 180 questions. I really should have thought that one through a little bit more, shouldn't I have? There's actually genuinely like 70 completely original, unique questions. There were some repeats, and we're gonna answer one of those repeats that's repeated all the time today. But I realized that wasn't the best way to do a Q&A type thing. I was thinking more like, hey, remember when you had a really small channel and you'd do a Q&A and 20 people would show up with like 10 questions? Well, yeah, there's way more people than that now. So yeah, wasn't expecting that. So what we're gonna do instead, with the introduction of regular vlogs, I'm not going to say that I'm going to do them every single week, but the plan is to do them as often as I feel necessary. They'll usually drop on a Saturday normally, not on a weekday like this, so they'll be like a weekend type thing you guys can check out on Saturday. They won't be very long, which was the point of not doing one massive Q&A with like 10 questions even, because the video would end up being at minimum 30 minutes long, which would have been crazy. So instead, the idea is with each of these vlogs to answer 4 questions, and they'll be varied. So I'll look at questions that are video game related, Titanfall related, and also questions that just ask about my personal life or things outside of video games, or maybe just things involved in the industry tech-wise that aren't directly tied to video games themselves. You can ask a question for the following week's vlog simply by putting a question down below in the first vlog. So for example, you could put a question down in this vlog and I will potentially answer it sometime next week in the next vlog, so on and so forth. That's the idea going forward. It's basically a segment that we'll just say, we'll just call it Ask Tony Mo. Like every YouTuber does that. It's smart, it's simple, it's straightforward, it makes sense, and it's understandable. Ask Tony Mo. So that will be the end portion of the vlog each week. So let's get into the rest of the vlog, because there are some things I wanted to talk about. Number one, a big thank you to all of you for watching my stuff. I was looking back at some videos that I made before Titanfall 2, and it was crazy because it's not like I was putting in any less effort or any more effort now. I was putting in the same amount of effort to all these videos I was doing for like Battlefield and all these other games for the past like 4 years now. I'd say the last 2.5 years my content was really good, where I was happy with it. Obviously always looking for ways to improve, but it was in a really good place, and I was lucky to get like 200 views, 500 views, maybe I'd break 1,000 on a video, maybe I'd have a video that got lucky and got like 20K, but for the most part that wasn't a consistent thing. I didn't have a consistent community, and even when a video did get 1,000 views, it had like maybe 50 likes. There was no one really interacting with it. There were a lot of people have been here for a very long time, but not to the extent that there has been with Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2 has been an absolute blow up with me. I mean, we gained like 10,000 subscribers in the past like 3 months. I don't even know the number, but it's massive. So now I look at a video, it's at like 5K by the end of the day, and there's like 400 likes and 150 comments. I'm reading comments all day long at this point. It's like I'm at work, okay, I gotta go to the bathroom, read some comments. I'm on lunch, read some comments. Trying to just see what you guys are saying. It's a good feeling. I'm not complaining. This is all positive thinking here, positive feedback to you guys. Like, thank you, bring them on. I like that stuff, So thank you all for watching. I obviously love making the content, but it's even better when there's a whole horde of people watching and enjoying it and telling me, hey Tony, that guide you did, man, that really helped me. I get a much better understanding for this now. I'll never be able to help everyone with guides. There's always gonna be people with different issues or with different struggles, but when I get on Christmas, I actually got 5 like personal written messages on YouTube, DMs, saying thank you so much. Like, you helped me play Titanfall 2. That's a good feeling, man. That was like the best Christmas gift ever, honestly. So thank you guys so much for that. You guys know who you are, the people who sent those messages my way. I hope you're still kicking butt out on the frontier and still learning, still adapting, still improving. Now, there's one other thing I want to mention before we get into the 4 questions for today. Good friend of mine who makes the music for this channel, Alonewolf. You may have heard that wonderful 80s synth goodness, that almost cyberpunky synth madness at the start and end of my videos. That's all music from Alonewolf. So he is actually moving forward with a different name. He's kind of wrapping things up with Alonewolf, and he's going to be moving forward as a new sort of music persona, which is really exciting. So what I want you guys to do is go check out some of his old stuff, because it's fantastic. I'll have it linked down in the comment section below. I'll have it pinned, and I'll also have it in the description. Please check it out, listen to it. If you like synth music, you like that sort of thing, it is more than worth the listen. He's got some really good stuff there. And he also did a bit of an experimental video for some of the I don't want to say, but it was basically just an experiment, you know, to trigger like, hey, I'm moving forward with things. Here's this experimental video, and I fell in love with it. It's very atmospheric. There's some actual, you know, like real world footage thrown in there, and he actually then went ahead and like made the music go to the video. It's just fantastic. I love experimental stuff like that, and I think it's one of his best pieces yet, no matter how experimental it is. So do me a big favor, go give the guy some love. He more than deserves it. He's working hard all the time to step up his game in the music world, and yeah, just another creator trying to make, trying to do what he does, what he loves doing, and it's simple as that. So he deserves the love. Go check him out. Let's go forward and let's answer some of these questions. I want to start with one that like 25 of you ask every single video, and that is, Tony, what do you do IRL? Well, I sell stuff to people. We're gonna leave it at that. I work for a small company. They're family owned. I want to, be respectful of their company and not really speak about what exactly I do or what they do on the internet. But I work in retail. I sell stuff to people. I talk to people every single day. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. It's a pretty good job. I can't complain. Obviously, it's not my plan for the never-ending future, but it's a good place to be for where I am right now. They're good people. Let's leave it at that. So let's go forward and actually look at some of these deeper questions. To start, Birddroppings asks, what was the game that made you realize the lens of measuring your personal enjoyment of a game through in-the-moment value? So I've talked about in-the-moment value in the past. Bird has been around for a long time. Thanks for the question, man. The idea of in-the-moment value is a game that gives you satisfaction consistently in the moment. It's not a game that asks you to go out and farm 50 things or get to a certain level to unlock your reward, to have that personal satisfaction as a player. It's a game that's constantly delivering on that. Rainbow Six Siege is a game that I constantly throw into the mix. Overwatch, Titanfall 2, these are all games that are constantly enjoyable, for me at least as an individual, because of their core gameplay design. That's in the moment value. So the games I should say, that made me, kind of come up with this idea of measuring my enjoyment through it were Destiny and The Division. So two, lengthy RPG-ish type experiences that very much focus on rewarding the player after they complete a feat. So if they spend an hour doing this or farming that or completing all of these goals, they eventually get the goal. They get they get the reward. Oh, look at this shiny weapon, this rifle, this sword, this shield, so on and so forth. That doesn't mean that those games can't have in-the-moment value. I use that simply as a marker to say I stopped playing Destiny when the in-the-moment value went away for me. So Destiny, to me, has always had some fantastic core gunplay. One of the best first-person shooters on the market, without a doubt. Bungie knows how to make a first-person shooter. There's no denying that. The game feels great, which is why I played it for like 500-plus hours. Every time there was a new expansion, I went back in. I got more of it. I enjoyed the gunplay. I enjoyed, the combat and the tactics, teaming up with my friends. And then as soon as it became like, okay, let's just grind to get max light level, then I stepped away. It's simple as that. I don't expect Bungie to always have something for players to do. I don't expect there to be a consistent element of horizontal progression. I think that's impossible unless you've got 10 teams working on the game. But nonetheless, that is the way that I came up with in the moment value. So let's move forward. Good question, Bird. Thank you for dropping that one, man. Unintentional pun. Anyways, Tony Ojeda asks, what was the original Titan you liked in Titanfall 2? Ogre. Man, I loved the Ogre. The Ogre with the arc cannon was my jam. My favorite combination of things. I just liked being able to go in, tank that damage, and then just zap everything to death. And you get a string of grunts on the ground and like attrition, and you just fry them all. And if there was a pilot who happened to be hiding in those grunts, well, he was going to be fried chicken later that day. I really liked that. That was an awesome chassis. Plus, I think that was a point in time when the speed and weight of the chassis for the Ogre didn't feel as like brought down, like with Scorch now. I love Scorch, I love Legion, but man, they can be brutally slow, especially when dealing with a Ronin. You didn't have a Strider chassis with a sword in Titanfall 1. You had a Strider chassis with the plasma railgun, so you didn't really have to worry about it. So Ogre all the way. I would love to see, I'd love to see the arc cannon come back. I don't really care about the original 3 chassis. We basically have them, but the arc cannon, sign me up. I'll be there day one. I know they won't charge us for it. It's going to be free if they bring it back, but I'd pay for that one, without a doubt. Anyhow, moving forward, John Smith has a very deep question. What do you want to become? I like this question, John, because I actually talk about this a lot. YouTube is by no means like my end game, per se. Obviously, achieving the status on YouTube, the ability to make a living directly off YouTube, to leave my day job and to say this pays the bills and then some, that's a place I want to get. But the purpose of getting to that place is to use that then some, that cash flow, to take the next step. And I have a lot of different ideas. I guess I'll let you guys in on probably one of my biggest future aspirations is to bring like an internet cafe type experience here to Buffalo, back to where I live. We don't really have one. We used to have a place called Sage's Quest when I was very young, that had like Counter-Strike and Quake. They had tabletop, Warhammer, stuff like that. They had Magic the Gathering. You know, it was an awesome place. I remember going there to play Warhammer when I first got into tabletop Warhammer. At the time, I think Lord of the Rings tabletop was also starting to get popular. They had one of those tables. And just the vibe like that, there's so much nostalgia for that sort of experience. And when you live in a place like Buffalo on the East Coast that is just buried in snow 6 months out of the year, well, not so much this year, climate change and all that, but, you know, for the most part, it's cold, you know? There's not a lot of things to do outside unless you're a winter sports person. And even then, you know, or taking a break from the elements and be able to come inside and enjoy, you know, some games with your friends in a, you know, in a more social setting, maybe with some, you know, some food and some snacks. I'm a guy who really appreciates great food. That, to me, is like, that's the next step after YouTube. I'm already thinking about that. And I'm one of those people who strongly believes that, you know, the moment you stop aspiring to do greater things or to take the next step or to take the next risk or to set yourself on another path after you complete the one you're currently on, is the moment you sort of die inside. Your soul becomes black and just kind of seeps out of your body, and then somebody takes it and they use it to power like a time machine or a teleportation device. That's a sad, sad situation for a soul to be in. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, John Smith, for a very deep question there. And that's it, guys. Like I said, I'm going to try and do 4 questions each week or each vlog moving forward. If you have a question you'd like to see potentially featured in the next vlog, feel free to throw it down in the comment section below. A lot of you guys wanted to see my face. I mean, it's there. It's a bit hairy. I like it. I hope you like it as much as I like it. Even if you don't, I hope you can at least stand to see it, because you're going to be seeing a lot more of it right here on the channel. Keep an eye out this week, guys. The full Kraber guide is coming. Teach you how to be the Kraber killer, or at least give you some additional tips to be more successful as the Kraber killer, since we already did that loadout. And also, VR stuff. VR stuff coming very soon. I know a lot of you guys want to see like a setup. You want to see my screens and my PC and my keyboard and my mouse. I think after I get the VR stuff figured out in here and everything gets set up with the HTC Vive, we'll do something with my setup. It's not as glorious as you think. I like my PC. It's simple, clean, you know, but this isn't like some crazy setup. It's just, it works. It's functional. It's utilitarian, much like the pocket on my shirt. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for supporting this channel. I will see you in the next one. Oh, you know what? Damn, I forgot. So let's talk about that closer. It's actually right here. Hold on, I'm gonna click. Yeah, right there. You can't see it, but there's a OneNote on the screen right now. It's got a project page, and the closer is there. It's real, trust me. I haven't been lying this whole time. There's a new closer, and it's coming. Sometime, somewhere, somehow, somewhen. That's not even a word. I'll see you guys in the next one.